Hey everyone, how's it going? Steve from Primarily Critical coming at you from quarantine. There's going to be a bit of an interruption. There might be a bit of an interruption in service. We have Primarily Critical episodes filmed until the beginning of June. And hopefully at that point we can start recording episodes again. And I hope you're all doing very, very well. Now, without further ado, here's your expected episode of Primarily Critical. Oh yeah.
Winnipeg content, home Manitoban content,
Mm-hmm.
to try to showcase those kind of movies.
That's right.
Because we should.
We're already a little Winnipeg famous because we are one of the oldest running podcasts.
Really?
In Winnipeg.
Well, then we should embrace like the local scene more.
Primarily Critical. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Primarily Critical Movies and After Party. This would be it.
If you have not seen this film, we suggest that you do so before listening any further.
Because we got spoilers, trivia, and opinions like crazy. And we can't wait to share them with you.
Good, bad, weird, or gross.
We pass judgment on them all.
Today!
That was good. I haven't heard that one for a while.
Yeah.
You really...
Wow.
Even if you're just looking for perspective, do not do drugs.
Yeah.
Right. My name is Steve. I'm here with
Phil.
I did that on purpose.
John.
John.
I saw you taking a drink.
Yeah.
John.
I'm
John.
so funny.
John, did you pick this movie?
I did pick this movie.
Why?
Well,
Why?
it was brought to my attention by my wife, my wonderful wife, Lori. She brought it to my attention, and I watched the trailer, and I'm like, oh, this looks good. This looks good. You know, it looks serious.
Very serious.
I knew there was going to be no comedy in this movie when I watched the trailer, but I thought the subject matter was something that was important, you know, just based on the trailer. So,
Steve, thoughts?
This is freaking sad, man.
it's freaking sad.
You know what the saddest part for me was? And this may surprise you. But the saddest part for me was whenever David was dropping his son off at the airport.
Mm-hmm.
And because the flight between New York and LA is called the Red Eye or something like that, right?
It could be.
Anyway.
Sounds good to me.
So it's such a short flight that I guess they decided they're going to put the kid on there alone.
That's not a short flight from New York to LA.
It's not?
No, that's right across the continent.
Yeah.
Got to be 5 hours at least.
Is he going east?
Anyway, sorry. Carry on with your point.
Going east to west, or is it whatever? We're getting off topic.
Anyway, whatever. They decide to leave the kid up to do this flight on his own. Maybe it's not between New York and LA. Maybe it's between two other cities.
Maybe.
But you know, the poor kid is like, I don't know. He's what, 5, 6?
Because
He's being torn away from his father.
Because they're
Being
divorced.
injected into his
parents,
mother's life.
Parents are separated. They're divorced.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's shipped back and forth as kids are in that situation.
Yeah.
But
it's not like across the street. It's like,
no, it's hard.
whoa.
Yeah.
It's and I think that's a big part of what this movie has in it. But I thought this movie was hard, sad. I knew coming into it was going to be a goddamn Debbie Downer movie. Like, I knew it, and I kind of like, I gotta get in the. It's kind of like you gotta get right headspace. It's not like you're going to see a superhero movie where you know you're gonna just have fun, stick your head in the sand, just have fun. No, you gotta actually watch the movie and really take it in.
Yeah.
And damn, it's heavy.
Yeah, it's
and damn
very heavy. Yeah.
But it's a motherfucking important movie that needs to be made, right? To show
It does.
what a lot of people are going through
Yeah.
with family dynamics and addiction.
Yeah. And like right now, we all know about the meth crisis, right? And we know, and one of the things that I've learned about meth is that, people go, why would anyone ever do meth? This is the question people always say to me, right? Like, I've heard these conversations, not just asking me, I'm saying that's the conversation. Why would someone start doing meth? And I think it was important. The movie didn't address this, but I just want, before we get right in the discussion, I want people to understand why people do meth. Is that no one starts on meth. They start cocaine. They start on a party drug, right? The reason people do meth is that it's $3 for a 16-hour high.
And this we're
That's
talking
why people do meth.
in our neck of
Meth
the
will
woods.
rot out your
Yeah.
teeth. Meth will ruin your life. And they said it in this movie, though. They said it's like cocaine, but 1,000 times
Worse.
or higher. I think
Well,
more grand of euphoria.
and that's
right?
great points because I loved about this
Dirt
movie.
cheap.
They made a point in this movie to like get to the heart of it, the root of the father really tried to understand why
Yeah.
are you doing crystal meth in particular, and they went through the science of it. They went through the psychoanalyzed it. He tried doing meth.
He researched his
He
ass
researched
off.
it.
Yeah.
He talked to the doctor, and he talked to counseling.
Yeah.
What didn't he do? What could have
He did drugs, but what?
Yeah,
he even
did it.
tried it himself.
He
Did
did
he
it.
do it himself?
Yeah,
He
he did.
did.
Did he
it.
actually do the crystal?
He stored the
Absolutely
meth.
did,
He
yeah.
stored it in one scene, right?
Yeah.
He absolutely tried everything, and I thought I wrote this down. Could you ask for a better dad? Could you ask for a better
This
home
guy,
life?
no.
Could you
couldn't.
ask? This is the point I'm going to make here. He had the perfect, by all of our standards in North America, he had the perfect home life.
Yeah,
Aside from the
perfect home
divorced
life. Yeah.
parents, which is not uncommon, but he had it all going for him.
I mean,
But
he
yet-
had a parent that would probably die before
Well,
he'd give up on his
yeah.
son. You know,
Absolutely.
and not. There's so few people that have that. You know, and you think,
And
and even then, it was so close. He almost lost his son.
I thought
right.
he was a gunner.
Yeah,
Goner.
and he could have very easily one little mistake, one direction, and he could have lost his son. So you're talking that you have the perfect parental, someone that's willing to die for their kid,
Yeah.
and it still might not be enough.
Oh.
And this movie
Oh,
drove
no,
that kind of home.
This,
You know,
this was the kind of it's beyond crystal meth. It was about addiction. This
Mhm.
the boy, the beautiful boy, and awesome acting all around.
yeah,
Nick, he just.
he did amazing.
I mean, he just was an
the
addict
actor?
through and through and
Oh,
through,
yeah.
right?
Mhm.
And he sucked everybody's energy and life down with him throughout.
Yeah.
And I think it was said 10 years of this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. He was down the rabbit hole for quite a while.
yeah, and I loved how this movie did not sugarcoat anything. Like there was no, it felt so real. You know what I mean? Like there was no, like a lot of movies will take the part. They didn't actually focus. What I really liked about this movie is they didn't focus on
On the addict.
the addict.
And I got a point.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And that, to me, that's the thing that is not a mistake in other movies, but it's just, I think it does. It's not. It lacks the power when you put too much focus on the addict, right? Because watching addiction is not really about the addict. It's about all the people that surround the addict. That's where the destruction really occurs.
Yeah.
And this movie really
Really
finally
nailed it.
nailed that, and it was about time that's what it was about. It's not about the addict. It's about the people around the addict,
Yeah.
I didn't cause it. I can't control it, and I can't cure it. Those are the three things written on the wall for the support group of survivors.
Yeah,
of,
I saw
other
that.
other people's
I know that. That's
yeah,
how bad it is.
addiction.
And the saddest part of the movie, and I thought maybe he was a goner. At the very end of the movie, Nick calls Dad and says, "Dad, I want to come home. I don't want to do rehab. I want to come home." And Dad finally says, "No,
Yeah.
understand."
Yeah.
And by then, you truly believe that he meant it, right? And
Yeah.
that was it. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, and then to compound the sadness of that statement, they go to that gathering and that one lady says, "I felt like I've been living with a dead daughter," or was it a daughter?
Yeah, it's like The Walking Dead. Yeah,
The Walking Dead. I've been mourning her death for years. Now it's just final. And I
Yeah.
thought, if I had one criticism about it, and this is real life, this really
Yeah.
happened, this is based on true life, is like I fully expect him to die. And
Yeah.
that hung over the whole movie for me. And maybe that was the dread, and that's the dread of watching those kind of movies. So I'm just going to watch a guy slowly die for 2 hours.
This brings up a huge question that I want to ask you guys. Did you think the movie would have been better if he did die
No.
in that last scene, or did
No.
you like the fact that he actually lived through it?
they let you off the hook a bit, but this is true life, and he really did survive because I watched
Because
extras.
it's a true story. I did watch the extra too.
Extras were awesome, by the way.
But if it was not based on a true story,
Then
the movie alone,
it's wow, you know.
Steve, movie alone.
I think somebody had to die. Maybe Lauren, the girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was dead, and that kind of
Yeah.
was weird to see her pop up to life, but that happens.
Yeah.
Because they live day to day, and they live score to score, and they live like.
Yeah.
Really, it is like that. It's a shitty. Why anybody would want that?
No, this was the first movie I watched
Yeah,
of the
it's
three
awful,
in this.
man.
Did anybody die? I can't remember.
I don't think anyone died.
No,
of the
except for the
characters.
lady talked about the addict that died.
Yeah.
And I thought he was dead when he scored. It seemed like he bought enough dope to kill himself.
Yeah.
And was that his goal, or who knows? Because their mind is just fucked up. And he's at that restaurant where he meets his fathers throughout the movie.
Yeah.
He hits, and he's dead on the floor of the bathroom. And I'm like, okay, he's dead.
Yeah. That's
Then
what I
they
thought.
let you off the hook because they went to the, but what?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. This is real life based on real stories.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because the father wrote his side of the story. He wrote a book.
Yeah.
And the son wrote his side of the the his book called Tweak.
Tweak and
Beautiful
High.
Boy.
Yeah.
And
wait, Tweak was written by Nick, and Beautiful Boy was written by Dave.
And they show the guys at the end, the real life people, and they it's amazing. It's just
I
crazy.
didn't watch any of the
They amalgamated the movie, and they went to your point earlier. They didn't take the son's path because they wanted to show the pain, I guess, and the perspective of the father, the parent, trying to negotiate the shitty life of having a daughter or a son that just could be dead.
Well, and to me, that's the magic of this movie. Is that that's what I love about this movie is that it's that perspective. That's this perspective that needs. I want more movies about this because I think that's the thing. Addiction is that the addict themselves. You kind of got to write them off as that they're in a kind of a hiatus from life. They're not actually
participating.
They're not participating.
They're not
in life.
advancing.
Right.
They're not being productive.
So why waste any energy on focusing on what they're going
been there,
through?
Done it, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's all the same old story. We've watched it from Sid and Nancy to there's so many movies about the addict of addiction and from the addict's point of view, done to death. I feel like it's a high time that somebody came up and said, "No, it's not." There you go. Yeah, it's not about them.
Yeah,
they're on a vacation. They're not actually living, right? It's about the people that surround them, right?
Yeah,
that's what addiction really is about. And good on these people for putting out a movie that said that's where the focus of the movie
and
was.
It was a choice. It was a choice by the people that made this movie to go one route and deal with that. And yeah, I agree. And my point earlier was that this kid had every good thing going for him in his life. Support family. The parents look like they're decently living well, in beautiful locations on the West Coast. This can happen. If that kid can't make it, can you imagine the kid that gets abused at home, has all the reasons to get addicted to things and go the wrong way in life? Because,
doesn't stand a chance.
And if this kid can't make it, well, wow, this shows you how bad addiction can be, and how bad, to your point, that drugs like meth are so cheap and readily available. Shame on you that deal meth. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we got to get this stuff off the planet.
Could you please
whatever
pick
we got to do,
another
we got to get this
occupation
stuff
in
off
your?
the planet.
Can you please pick another occupation in your criminal lifestyle that's a bit less harmful to the humanity? Can we agree on that much? Peddled weed. I don't know.
Yeah,
there's plenty of good drugs out there
that don't do this.
Absolutely,
I suppose, like alcohol, caffeine,
marijuana, caffeine.
But that's my point. You can. I think we can agree that it doesn't get much lower than freaking meth because it's basically cleaning products.
Yeah.
In your system, cleaning you out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stealing your soul.
Destroying families.
Yeah. Rotting your teeth. All that jazz.
There's I noticed in Amazon Prime. Did you watch it through Amazon Prime?
I did, and well, I think you have to, right? This is
Yeah.
This is an Amazon
Prime
original.
original. That's right.
Oh,
If you pause it, it'll give you some details
Oh.
about what you're looking at
Yes.
in that particular scene.
I made a note of that.
That's nice.
I did not
And
know
kudos
so.
on Amazon Prime. Not like they need more kudos because they're
The guy's
Or-
rich.
the guy that's like one of the
rich,
he's the
yeah.
richest person on the planet.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah, and
But anyways, their team, the people that came up with their system, you're getting they're hooked up with IMDb, I believe,
Okay.
and so they have extras. And you were saying, sorry, keep going with your thought.
And that's it. I thought it was cool.
Oh.
You pause it, and it'll give you the names of the actors on the screen and maybe the products they're wearing.
Oh no, kidding. The thing I saw today, I'm watching it, casting it to my TV. Not only the actors for every scene, which is cool, the music. So you're watching the scene, you think that's great.
oh, that's
music.
a great tune. What is it?
It's there. It's like you're like, well,
Really,
then
eh?
because there's some there's a nod. The movie is called Beautiful Boy, and there's a song written by John Lennon called Beautiful Boy,
Yeah.
and it's in the movie.
I love the music in this movie. They even brought in
Yep.
good old Neil Young was in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really is well done with the music.
Yeah.
Kudos to the music department on
Yeah,
that one.
absolutely,
choices, and Beautiful Boy. Yeah, that I don't know if that was named after that song or what have you, but
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I thought the movie was well shot. I thought the way there was maybe one criticism I would have is that they did at one point they said 1 year earlier, right?
didn't
Yes.
keep up with the time.
But yeah, the timeline was not.
They jump
always-
around in time.
They jump around in time.
They cast the boy with different actors because they go from a range of 10,
Yeah.
10 to like 18 to like
Yeah,
20s.
and the thing is that if they, I kind of feel like if you didn't even if you had not put that 1 year earlier, I wouldn't have got in my brain. Oh, they're gonna keep me posted as to where we are in the timeline.
yeah, it got
But then I realized they weren't, so they do it once,
yeah, that was,
and they say
not
1 year
consistent.
earlier, and then they
Yeah,
were not consistent with that.
It's
Yeah,
weird. That is a good point. I didn't notice that, but I was a little jarring when the
Yeah.
actor, he's of the same age, so he's doing flashbacks within a certain range. It kind of got a little,
yeah.
and that's the editing trick that kind of at times in other productions I'm like, that's just overdoing it. I didn't mind this one. I kept up with it.
I kept up with it, but there was moments like, is it like I'm like, is this now or is this
Yeah.
and I'm sure we all had that, right? Is
Yeah, I wrote
is this
down
now?
time jumps.
You didn't
Yeah,
like him?
there's
Where-
time jumps.
It's a cute editing trick sometimes. Where
Yeah.
it tries to tell a story, maybe the way the book tries to. And in the book, they might have said, well, 5 years ago, I remember time, but they skipped that.
Yeah.
They condensed it.
I mean, at the end of the day, it didn't really matter. You kind of put it all together,
Oh, yeah.
but it was in the moment. You might be pulled out of the story for a second, and that's not a harsh criticism. I mean, it's a mild criticism, right? I mean, you maybe if it was thought out a little better, you could have done that so that people wouldn't get pulled out for a
There's
second.
the way
right?
to
But-
go is linear, straight through your life.
Yeah,
Or jumping around in time. And the way they handle it, some movies cue you and say, 1 year ago in Kansas City.
yeah.
That kind of thing. That
I
helps
don't
you
know.
along. Or narration, right? Oh,
Yeah.
well, I remember time Morgan Freeman goes back when I'm not going to go into that. But you know what I mean? There's ways of doing it,
Mhm.
and there's artsy ways of doing it. And
Well,
sometimes
I know.
maybe that ticks you off.
But
right?
it was weird because they did the 1 year earlier, which kind of made you think that
Good.
whenever there's time changes, we're going to be notified on the screen,
It's true.
and then they
Very
were
true.
not consistent with that. So that was there's my criticism.
So,
Yeah.
Felix, it didn't work. Do it again.
Hey,
Do it again.
great movie. But yeah,
The one of the brothers, Nick's brother, Jasper, is called Jeff once. I didn't know that was a thing. Is that a
Uh-huh.
thing? Is
I-
Jeff short for Jasper?
I don't.
this.
You didn't
Like-
know?
You
I
picked
just
some.
completely
What?
missed this,
It's
man.
okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I
It's all good.
completely missed this. Yeah,
They do seem to focus a little bit on the relationship with the dad, especially, and then he
Yeah.
goes over to his mom's place.
Yeah.
He seems to do quite well over there, and then he comes back to visit his dad and has a breakdown.
relapse.
When he relapses when he comes back to his mom.
Yeah.
And then there's a moment when you really get a feel for how much Karen is involved. because there's a car
Yes.
chase scene.
Yes.
And I didn't really get a sense for her involvement until that moment.
Yeah.
And it was a nice touch. I
It
really
was a
liked
nice
it.
touch. Yeah.
I
like that.
I like that scene because I think when she stopped driving,
Yeah.
chasing after him, it's like, I'm done.
Yeah.
He's dead. He's dead
Yeah.
to me. And it's an awkward position because she's the stepmother,
Yeah.
even though she was with the kid for a
From
lot.
very young, right?
Yes.
It seemed like from very
big
young.
chunk of their life, and like they're just showing what makes it more real. And the mother, the biological mother, you thought to me, I thought we're never gonna see her. That she's just
Yeah.
this other mother, and then you
Right.
finally see her. And so kudos to the choice to bring
Yeah.
her in at the time, and it flip flops where the mother even says at the end of the movie to the father, you know, you gotta come and check on him, and she's starting to care the way that the father did.
Yeah.
And the father's at that time is like, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's your turn.
Yeah.
Pass the ball. It's like hard,
Super
Yeah.
hard
choices.
choices.
Super hard
exactly,
choices. Yeah.
and well done. Like
Yeah.
really well done.
Yeah, it was. This movie was so realistic. It was scary. You know, it kind of
I
just.
think they could have went dark. They could have followed Nick around the streets, and like the other movie
Yeah.
we reviewed that was really gritty. Like actors were really people off the street kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like the freaking movie we did there. But
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name.
Yeah,
but
but we'll
I
get
know
it.
which one you're talking.
Um, the point is, like, that was totally the junkie side of it, or
Right.
the addict side. This
Yeah.
was more of the family side, and which I
Yeah.
think is a brave choice
Yeah,
and a very necessary movie in this day and age.
yeah, I think so.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I made two notes. As a father of young children, this is fucking terrifying.
yeah,
and two, as awful as this movie is, it's supposed to be a success story. This
Oh,
all
How it
this,
ends?
everything this family went through, all
Yeah.
this challenge, all these hoops, all this nastiness. It's a success story
because it is
It's
based off a
meth
true story.
Success
It-
story,
and it is.
Yeah.
And that you're right. Good point. Well said.
and it's true. I fully expected the main character to die, and it'd be awful. And it did have a silver lining, and 8 years sober at the time I saw the clip. I don't know if you've seen it, John. You didn't get checked out. Sorry,
I did.
you did see it.
I
So
did see it, yeah.
so we're led to believe things worked out in a way.
Yeah, but
Wow.
to Steve's point, this movie is what a meth success story looks like.
Why? Yeah, I guess. Let's hope it. Yeah,
Like, in that in itself is terrifying.
it's all terrifying.
Yeah, but this is a success story. You know, I've heard the numbers when they actually said in the movie the success rate of people overcoming meth. When the percentages said in the single digits, right?
Yeah.
I've heard this. I've actually heard it as low as 2%, right?
Oh, it's terrible.
So this is a story of an anomaly, right? And
Yeah,
as
which is
terrifying
sad.
and as
And-
horrific
and
as
you-
this was, this is a success story. That's your point you're making, right?
absolutely,
and totally, because when
Yeah.
I watched the movie, there's so many times where I thought this guy, this kid, this beautiful boy, he's dead here on traffic accidents because he's wasted driving at high
Mhm.
speeds. There's another scene where he's in San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge is in the background, foreshadowing suicide all over the place, and then the OD times. It's
Yeah.
like, holy crap, this guy has survived, and this
Yeah.
story is repeated thousands of times over
Yeah.
by every day right now. People are living this.
You know, there
this
was.
story. They're living this right now with
I-
parents they're worried about.
I think well, I don't know, but I lived kind of the party life when I was a teenager, right? And there was cocaine around, and I didn't do it. And because somebody said something to me when I was in those years, they said, cocaine is so good that if you try it, you'll never be able to let that good feeling go,
Yeah.
right? People were never meant to feel that good,
Yeah.
right?
That's an interesting.
And that was so. I'm like, that's a good point. So I never wanted to do cocaine, right? Because I wouldn't be able to handle feeling that good because I would never be able to turn back from it, right?
yeah.
Now, this movie says, the addict himself said, it's like cocaine times 1,000.
Yeah. I
Right?
think this guy would have
So-
done anything to chase a high or chase a.
Right.
He would have done
But
anything.
meth is like cocaine times
he
1,000.
just locked into
That's-
that, right?
Right. And I'm thinking, holy crap, that's what we were saying back in the 80s when there was no meth, that coke, you'd never turn back from.
But addiction is a lot of things, and not necessarily narcotics. It could be alcohol, it could be sex, it could be food, it could
True.
be
Yeah.
addiction. It's addiction, and I think this guy was just
Yeah.
a pure 100% addict. And wow.
Well, I mean, if you find heaven on earth, how do you walk away from it, right?
Man, you're just spewing like all gold
Spewing
here.
literature.
Literature and quotes.
Let's get into this trivia, shall we?
Sure.
And unless I'm cutting anyone off.
No,
No, not at all, man.
My notes are covered there, I think.
The real Nick Sheff stated in a Q&A that the drawing that David, Steve Carell in the movie, finds his son... I'm reading this wrong, but Steve Carell in the movie finds his son addiction struggles was drawn out in Nick's real life half-brother,
Jasper.
Jasper Sheff. He wrote, I guess, the journal that Dave finds when he's trying to. There's a powerful scene where he's flipping through this notebook and he's just seeing like destruction and
Wow. Yeah. Like, whew.
his descent into madness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The book of mad. Did I write that down? I wrote down Journal of Madness. See, I'm spewing things.
It's like no, I'm gonna spew a quote like riding the snake. It's like you're dealing with you're dealing with the crazy shit that could, and I suppose that a creative person like himself, Nick,
Yeah.
he thought I can ride this snake. I
Yeah.
can be creative but he falls into just madness,
Yeah.
and his life becomes controlled by the addiction. So all that thoughts, I can handle this. And no, that's what you go into it thinking.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I got it under control.
I got it under control, but
Yeah.
clearly they show every step of
Yeah.
the way how you're not in control. And I had to make a note I didn't catch. The low point, I think, is when he stole his little bro's $8 to
Yes.
score drugs.
Yes. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's just sad and
But
low.
how low can you go?
Well, but you can. And this movie
Oh,
covers
they
it all.
do. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, I'll take the next trivia. Sure. The movie is a combination of Nick Sheff's book, Tweak, and his father's, David's book, Beautiful Boy, a father's journey through his son's addiction, which is amazing.
Yeah. It's amazing.
Two books come together in the movie and pulled off pretty damn well.
Yeah. Well, it's a story. I mean, it's an amazing story and I'm so glad that these two wrote these
Perspectives,
books
yeah.
and that these books exist in the world.
I'm glad they survived this because,
Yeah.
we talk about the addict could say, I just want to die or OD.
Mhm.
Well, who's to say your dad just had enough and wants to die or wants to?
Yeah.
It's so hard. It's to see these guys survive and come out the other side and document it and have a movie. Now we can talk about this. We're talking about it right now.
Exactly.
We're talking
This
about it.
quality stuff that
This
we're doing
movie
here.
is put that into the world, right?
Absolutely.
And the books.
Absolutely.
Mm.
The title of this film and the book it is based upon comes from John Lennon's song
Wow.
Beautiful Boy.
Yep.
In quotes, Darling Boy. Author David Sheff famously interviewed John Lennon and Yoko Ono in the months leading up to the release of their album Double Fantasy in 1980. John Lennon was murdered 3 weeks after it's released on December 8th, 1980.
Wow.
Wow.
It's just all sad.
Wow, eh?
It says David Sheff famously interviewed him, but I was unaware.
I was unaware of that.
There's a scene in the movie where David, I believe he's at a meeting, and it was Rolling Stone. And so I guess he was a writer for Rolling Stone at some point.
Okay.
He said in the movie he's a freelance writer.
Yeah,
And I think and I think he wrote something before the book that became the book, was for New York Times.
Okay.
And so he's a pretty well known writer. So.
Writer, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
and
good stuff.
one of the things I this goes back to the point that this guy he barely made it, survived meth, and under these circumstances was such a great father. They had money. Did you follow the things, the money that was thrown around?
Oh, to get him help?
$46,000 for a month.
Well, that yeah.
Was one quote I heard,
Yeah.
right? And he did not take that route, but you're thinking
No, but
he
you
might be
led
looking
to believe he did. He spent no expense. He just did everything.
Right.
He flew around the
so
country.
not only do we have a
right?
great father, we have a father with money,
the means,
right?
and that's the point
important
I was making earlier. That if
Yeah.
a family that equipped to try to handle this crisis can't get it done, that shows you how crazy addiction is.
Barely got it done, and they have everything,
Yeah. And
Crazy.
Yeah.
John Lennon, man, that's all sad. And John Lennon's no stranger to drugs, that's for sure.
No,
That's
but
weird.
he didn't know meth.
And you wonder if meth was around during the time, like, Jesus, it's terrible. It's just all terrible. There's no good drug. Like, when it gets to that level of drugs,
We got to get meth off this planet. It's just got to not exist. Whatever it takes.
The editing of the film took 7 months in total, during which the movie was completely recut multiple times.
wow.
Initially, Nico Launen Van Gonen
Groningen?
Groningens.
Wow.
Wow. Felix.
Sorry.
All right, so
Sorry, Van.
initially,
Nico.
Nico, Felix's longtime collaborator, was not involved in the project. However, Felix became dissatisfied with the editing process and brought Nico to Los Angeles to reconstruct the film.
Wow. Maybe
Wow.
maybe to your point about the time jump and the editing.
Yeah.
That is a interesting bit of trivia. Like the amount of production to do things in the editing process.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can really screw up a movie, if you don't handle the editing right.
Oh,
So it's a fine
totally.
line to get a good movie out there.
Yeah. I mean, we produce music, and one of the biggest things that when I think we make our biggest mistakes is we've over-listened to a song too many times, and we've lost perspective from what people who have never heard it.
Well, anyone has
know.
done editing in various forms, and
Yeah.
editing comes in a lot of ways. It's through print, video, music. You can lose your freaking mind. Perspective. You have
Yeah.
to step back. You need
Yeah.
a second opinion, third opinion.
Fresh ears, fresh
So,
eyes, fresh, all that.
I'm always interested in the creative process of making things. So yeah, well, I guess we all agree that we liked the movie.
Yeah.
And we thought it was a necessary movie.
Necessary
and,
movie,
Very
yeah.
necessary,
good job all
scary as
around.
fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really don't do drugs just for perspective.
The only thing is, my only gripe about this movie is that it's putting more money in the pocket of, what's the guy's name that owns Amazon?
What?
Jeff Bezos?
Oh,
Yes,
Bezos.
That's right. Yeah, he doesn't need more money. But
No, he doesn't need more money.
he doesn't need more money.
He doesn't need more money.
And-
All I can say
this
is
was-
Jeff spent some of that money for the good of
but
humanity.
it was yes,
right? That's all. I
Money
can
well
say.
spent, Jeff.
Keep
I
making
know you're
movies
gonna make
like
money
this,
off of it,
and
so you didn't really spend anything. But
keep getting movies made like this.
This movie was also produced by a gentleman by the name of Brad Pitt, and
Yes.
I'm a fan of his.
course.
He's behind a few movies that
yeah,
I kind of dig.
yes.
You're spilling your beer.
I am. Jeez,
We
that
gotta
was
wrap
caught
it
on
up. We
camera.
gotta wrap
Yeah.
it up.
Oh, jeez. Get him off the set. Get
Uh,
him off the
Next
set.
week, Monday at noon, we're covering Jojo Rabbit. Phil, why'd you pick it?
I've been looking forward to seeing this movie and bringing it to primarily critical for a long time. It feels
You
like.
have, yeah.
Here's a little inside information.
Guys, just you gotta check it out. See the movie and come back for our review.
He picked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood before it was released, and then we had to miss that episode and then do it again the next one. And then that time he picked another movie,
Yeah.
Jojo Rabbit, and the same thing happened.
Same
It's
thing.
okay.
So
Same thing.
You didn't need to tell them that.
yeah, don't.
By the time this
You're
episode
being
airs,
exposed, buddy. You're being outed.
it'll be all fine. It's water under the bridge. Don't worry.
No, I'm saying
I'm
this
gonna
because
pick
I
a
love
movie
you. I
that's
love
100,
you.
100 years old next time. It's absolutely out. Okay.
Anyway, I can't wait to talk about it.
Yes.
Jojo Rabbit next week, Monday at noon. Primarily critical.
Can't wait. Bye bye. Bye bye.